Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel, The Hunter Collective. Today we've got Rhys in the chair. How you doing, Rhys? You good? Yeah? I'm alright. So what's the plan? What are you thinking?
So I've gone from short back and sides in February to sort of this long grown out hair. A bit
yeah. Are you looking to carry on going?
Yes, I'd like, it's been an opportunity to have longer hair.
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of keep a little bit of that at least.
Yeah.
But I just want to, have a bit of a style and a cut that works with my hair type.
Okay.
Kind of hair shape.
Yeah.
I mean, give it a bit of movement and texture and that kind of thing. So.
Okay. And the thing is, when you talk about face shape, when you've got a beard as well, that does change the face shape. Now, I've just to the guys watching at home, I've seen you without the mask on, and you've got, I'd say, like an oval face shape behind the beard, but with the beard it obviously widens out. Now it's hard at this length to really have a haircut that's going to match that, because obviously the beard gets shorter and longer and shorter and longer, so it's probably more matched up to the face shape under the beard at the moment, depending on how short we go on these little bits here for yourself if you're going to trim it down and stuff. But essentially what you've got now, I do think works. I think you've got lovely hair. You've got a nice sort of wave in it. Obviously it looks a bit messy because it's grown out from kind of what you said, like 8 months or something. As you can see, a bit of a Nate well kind of sparseness here, quite strong in the middle. So essentially it goes up, down and up, right? That's essentially the thickest point is here. So that's why when you lie the hair down, it's like the longest point down there. Okay, so what I think would be quite nice to do is, if you want to grow your hair out, is just add balance and add some shape to it. So obviously it'll be all over the place when we wash it, because obviously it's grown out from, like I said, a short back and sides. I don't know what that last haircut was like, so it could be, maybe it was like maybe a parting or something like that, maybe it could be longer this side. Kind of looks like it might be slightly on this side, but I think what would be quite nice is just to, like you said, add some balance and add some shape to a haircut that you can then grow out, but add loads of movement and texture in there for you to just be able to go up in the morning. Maybe even just a bit of salt spray, run your fingers back, let it fall. I'm loving this kind of natural part, like off center part, and I think it suits you loads, and that must just be your natural part, and that's why it suits you. That's why I find it looks good for you. I do like the kind of top heaviness though. I was just in the camera. You think I think that kind of top heavy, when you kind of just run your fingers to it, it's got a really nice shape to it. So I think I'd like to emphasise that a bit more today for you, to be honest, Rhys. I think it'd be quite nice. Again, we'll just maybe just clean up the what I call the perimeter, just like the neckline. Because we haven't got a neckline now, I call it the perimeter, because we haven't got anything to work to in terms of shape. I maintain this as being a bit, obviously taking a bit of length off through here as well, but mainly the thickness. Raise it up so it's a bit more even. So essentially you want to leave these bits longer to match up to the middle. That way it'll start as it grows out, be more uniform. And then just kind of tighten up the ears, just around here, make sure it's balanced. But I think I wouldn't necessarily, if I was you, I wouldn't necessarily go too long. I think the texture and the movement in your hair, I think a little bit longer than this would be really nice. I don't think that whole one length would work, because you've got that quite curl and that kind of bend. So I think it would be quite nice if it was just like this, maybe a tiny bit longer. I think it'd suit you loads. So what we'll do is we'll give it a shampoo and condition, and we'll really see how it sits. Right guys, so I've just shampooed and conditioned Rhys's hair. Now, I mean, you've got wicked hair, mate. I think we really want to emphasise that today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the horseshoe section. Now again, the reason why I do that is to separate the back and the sides from the top. But again, Rhys doesn't want to cut too much off. He wants to, he likes the length. He just needs to tidying up. That is the first things that you said, really. You were open to suggestion, but I think when you've been growing your hair for a while, it doesn't always have to go back to what you had, because you may as well experiment. It'd be just a waste for 8 months worth of growth just to then go, for videos, so should we do a 2 back and sides? It's not worth it. I think doing what you want is going to be, you're going to be happier with it. You'll see the end results will be much happier as well. Just dropping it below, probably about maybe ½ an inch from the crown. So what we want to do now is we want to pretty much maintain all of the length through the back and sides, apart from the perimeter at the neck, and maybe just tidy up around the ears as well. But well, this length is quite nice. You can see where it stops, just with the bottom. So we can obviously take a little bit of length through there. But I want to just kind of start to break up the back and sides. So normally we take sections as wide as my comb, so about there. So wide as a Matador 42 comb. Okay, that's normally the average width of a section I take when we remove a length. Because we want to keep the length, I'm going to do it double. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, take it just before the start of the ear, just here. I'm going to pull everything into the middle. Okay, so I'm over direct both sides into the middle. So essentially we're going to have long, short, long. So the majority of the length will stay, just as we over direct and cut the middle. This will be shorter here, which will allow movement through the hairstyle, but also it'll start to create that squareness as well. And cut. Bring it all towards you, like so, and cut. So when you drop that, you've got all the length either side, but in between you've got a shorter section through there, compared to them. See? It sits down longer. So what that helps to do, helps to create movement in the section, in the hair, by basically keeping the majority of the length. I'm pulling everything into the middle, keeping the section completely straight and parallel to the other side, and cutting. Cut it through. And that starts to add that little bit of movement from there. So all the shorter little bits you put in move around a lot easier than the longer bits. Taking the section from just before the last one, start over, and then it's right into the middle. Right out, there's the guide. Don't forget the section's really, really wide, so you won't notice it. And there we go, cut. So as we let that down, all that length is staying, but we've got shorter little bits. And cut. Yeah, we don't have a guide from behind now, because we haven't cut anything behind the ear. So we're using the top guide, not angling this closer to the neck. I'm just bringing it straight out, straight down the middle, cut. Right out, straight down the middle, there we go. And then cut it. If you look at that, it's just long layers. If you look at the other side now, kept all the length, but look at that texture that's sitting through there now. See? Now we're continuing with the same width section. So we should have one here, one here, one here. Here's the guide. You want to keep it right out. So you're starting to really remove that length in the right area. You're not going to layer it lower, trying to build weight at the bottom. You're just looking to literally break up the sections, break up the thickness through the hair. So again, by the width of the section we're taking, and we're not taking an awful lot of length off really in terms of how long the hair is, it's not becoming noticeable that we're going shorter in sections. There is our primary shape around the back. So what we're going to do now is going to cut the perimeter in now. I'm going to start using the razor in a minute, so I want this hair wet. I'm not looking to remove a lot of length, but here's where you'll see the sectioning we did before. Okay, watch when I pull this down now. You've got your long bits and your short bits. That's exactly what I was looking for. Short, long, short. So that's exactly the section we're doing. Short, long, short. Short, long, short. It's going to match up to the shorter bits. All it will do is it will strengthen up the hair around the perimeter, because this hair is just grown out with no shape, no structure, no nothing. So all I'm doing is just strengthening up the ears and just keeping that shape in the sides. Going from the top, just working it straight down. I want it to be quite natural looking. Got our short, long, short. There we go. Bring that around. There we go. Turn your scissors around. Just cut that through there. There we go. So I'm going to use the length that flicks out through here. Okay. I think we can get away with taking off about that much length. We've got it nice and straight. Okay. I'm just going to match towards me. There we go. So we're matching up to the side. Nice and straight. Fingers nice and straight following that guide. To that side, and as we get to this next section, we should reach our guide. There we go. So working horizontally this time. So we've just been working vertically, doing palm to palm. Work horizontally now. Okay. We work into the hair. Start to cut to my finger to really break up the interior of the sides. And just add a little bit of movement as well. Like he said, he wants that movement. I want to create some movement through that you can just scrunch dry one day, or you can blow dry back. And that's what we were speaking about before, wasn't it, Rhys? We were talking about options, you know. It's nice to have options when you've got longer hair, even shorter hair. Guys generally get bored quite quickly. I know I can definitely vouch for that. I get bored very quickly in my hair. Some days I love it being longer. Then as soon as I sit down in the chair, I'm like, no, take it off, you know. But I think guys do need that kind of, the options to style the hair differently. And it just stops us getting bored, I think. So if I can give Rhys this option to do a few things with his hair, it'll take that boredom away as he's still trying to grow his hair too. I'm just cutting right into the ends now, and all I'm doing, I'm just really starting to break up. And look at that, scrunch my hands through that. Loads of texture in there. Now that is texture as I'm scrunching it, but if I was to blow dry that, it would just look nice and smooth. Because again, we're keeping a lot of the length in there, it's going to mask a lot of this texture. Just sliding in, so I'm taking quite a lot of length up through the back. The back is super thick. I'm going to razor over the top of it, just to thin it out a little bit, see all that hair coming off. And then what I'll do is I'll just break it up with the razor to create a bit more of a sort of natural looking finish towards the edges. So I'm just combing it out as it wants to fall. I'm just going to use the razor just to break up the ends like that. So not having it too blunt around the bottom. He's with the neck hair, just a little bit of unruly neck hair. We'll just use the razor to remove that as well, like so. Nice and flat. I'm not going to cut the guy. because you got the little kind of safety element for it. That just allows you to give a nice, clean, quick neck shave. It's a really nice, quick way. Getting rid of that neck hair, very natural as well. Gives a really nice finish this way, I find, as well. Just work underneath your finger as well. Cool. What we're going to do now is we're going to work across horizontally. So again, not too dissimilar in length as we were before. So probably not that wide, okay? So I'm pulling it right out. No, I'm going to point cut into this as well. Nice, sharp angles, because I want this to still fall quite uneven into the sides. I'm doing 3 sections across the top, okay? But as you see, we've got very little guide now. One last section as well, just from over near the recession point on the other side. Just pull this straight over. Now, there won't be much to take off, if anything. No. There we go. No, there's nothing to take off. I know the other side isn't. It's just be the fringe, okay? Now, same thing on the other side. There's our guide. Same thing again. There's our next section. So very, very wide sections. Again, keep the majority of the length in this haircut. Pull that out. Isn't much to do. Again, same as other before. Break that up a little bit. Cut it in. And this last section again, probably won't be much coming through it. No, exactly, see, nothing apart from the fringe. So you pull that out, there's the fringe. So there's the crown, snap in the middle, take a section just above the crown. I'm going to work vertically and just connect in the top up here. There's our guide. I'm going to tell you the other guide comes in through there and then just slide through to connect. Again, very similar to what we were doing before. A little bit, not much to come off, but we'll do it anyway. It's all the way back, like so. Same thing again. There we go, just a few little bits left to do. So take a nice little loose section just from before the apex as well. Just try and separate that, because that length there comes down to the fringe anyway. So we don't need that. So tidy the fringe up ever so slightly. A little tiny bit off. Cut it nice and blunt. As you can see, it looks a little bit dry, a little bit weak at the ends. So I'm just going to cut that nice and blunt. There we go. Add a little bit of collapse in there, a little bit of root lift in there, a little bit of everything in there to give him the option to do a few things with it. Just working back with that as well. Wide section across where the crown is. There we go, there's a little point there. So use the razor on my thumb just to connect that slightly. Diagonally, because obviously we worked up horizontally, we pulled it out, transitioned horizontally. Going to work diagonally across now. Just working through. Like so. Just to work across. I'm just working towards the ends now. I don't want to cut into the crown. I'll break the ends up a little bit. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to dry this. Just finger dry, a little bit of salt spray. I'm just going to dry it back and see where it falls naturally. So some salt spray in there. It's always a great base, especially for longer lengths like this. All the way through the back as well. And just high heat, high speed, run your fingers all the way through it. Make sure you rub that salt spray in as well. And then just dry it. Very loose dry. Now I'm going to dry it from just off that off-centre parting, like when he came in. Dry it up, back. See, with the section we've done, Rhys can wear it that way. Wants a bit more height in it, going against the way his hair grows. A bit more height. If we wear it this way, if you want it to flatter. It's always quite a nice technique. If you fancy wearing your hair a bit higher up, you don't want to try and add like using a brush to blow dry it. Just dry it and start the other way. And it'll just have the height that's going against the way it wants to fall. There we go. Look at all that nice texture falling through there. Really nice natural neckline. But if you look at the angle as well from the side, it's sitting square, it's sitting square, it's sitting square. It's that masculine, what we term masculine kind of finish, that square leanness for the jawline is what we look for. Now I think just to bring this out a bit more, I'm going to use a little bit of the Regal Gentleman clay in this haircut actually. Is that looking alright, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah? Sweet. Thank you, man.
intended rather than
That's exactly it. That's it.
messing.
That's it. So little bit, and I'm only using a tiny bit. This is like literally a pea size amount. Okay, palm of my hand. Okay, working it through, warming it up. And I'm going to make this a bit more messier as well. So how I'm going to apply this is now the hair is dry. Just scrunch it in. Working it through the hair as well. Again, just a little bit. I've already got the salt spray in there. I've already blow dried it. Okay, I'm not touching the hairline. All I've done is this used a razor just to tidy it up a little bit. I'm just going to use my fingers just to get that natural part in there. My fingers to pull that out a little bit as well. Love that. It looks wicked. Really nice. It's a tiny little bit of clay. Finger drying. So again, these styles are achievable just by doing what I did. A bit of salt spray just for the base to help you kind of style the hair, to dry the hair a bit. And then just with your fingers, just blasting it through. Again, that's why I always say the haircut should do it. The product should enhance it. And you should essentially try and be able to achieve it as well, you know?
Yeah. Exactly what I want.
Thanks, man. I'll show you the back and sides. It's cool now?
Yeah, I really like it.
Like you said, intended now, more than it being unintended. Unintended growth, yeah. There we go, man. Thank you. You're very welcome. So to recap, Rhys wants to keep a lot of the length in his hair. It was just a bit big, a bit bulky, a bit overgrown, you know, again, February, March haircut. So I wanted to try and show you a technique today where you can maintain a lot of length, but a lot of texture by simply the way you section it. So we've done really, really wide palm to palm sections, which essentially you're over directing everything into the middle and you're leaving long section either side and a short section in the middle. Obviously not too short, but just enough that you say like an inch off what we had, just to show off that and break up that kind of thickness in the back and sides. But all the way around the back and sides. Then around the perimeter, we just cut it blunt, just matched up the ears to strengthen it because it was a bit fine. Took the middle up because obviously the middle was quite long because it had grown into a point the way his neckline naturally grows. Added some secondary shape with a razor, just working it through horizontal sections. Used it to finish off around the perimeter, shaved his neck with it. Then on the top, we've done horizontal sections either side, 3 across the top either side, just to connect, but we've done very deep point cutting. Just, I wanted that kind of, I still wanted to connect, but I wanted to be quite kind of choppy when it connected. And then we used the razor again, loads of different ways, horizontal, vertical. We used to pinch width and working diagonal sections just to really break up the movement in the hair, but maintain length. It's the key thing, maintaining length. And then I just finger styled it with a hairdryer. Bit of salt spray just to add that little bit more something to it, and then a tiny amount of clay just to give it a little bit of something that we can just give a bit of inspiration to Rhys if he ever fancies going out, but essentially doesn't have to, and just let it be how it was. But so I'll show him something that he can do with it, just a little touch of something else, and that was it. Happy?
Very happy.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.